Hello, my name is Joshua Zuniga, and this is my mass communication presentation. Now, this is why I love Harry Potter, and this is why I hate the Jersey Shore. Now, I vividly remember the first time I had experience with Harry Potter. When I was a kid, about first grade, I can say, I was the proclaimed, smartest kid in class. I always wanted to win everything. I made everything into a competition, and that was kind of the way I was. And this is all to the avail of my teacher, who honestly had to always try to make up a new way to, impress me or think of a new way to, get me, into the class. And so she had to start sending me to the library after a while, where I started to actually develop my ideas and develop my taste for books, which I now know is kind of a fantasy fiction. Now, near the end of the year, though, even the librarian was noticing that I was getting bored in there. And she decided, you know what, I'm going to let Josh go into the new books section, which and my Acres Homes school was kind of a big deal. It really was. And I didn't want to mess with this opportunity. So what I was planning on doing was trying to get all the books. But as soon as I walk in, and remember, I was a skinny kid. I was tall, but I was skinny. I had glasses that were broken. I had long, choppy hair. And I see this cover of Harry Potter. And I identify with this boy almost immediately. I identify with him. I feel like I am him. I see myself on the broom. I see myself with the wand. It's just it kind of happens. And as I start reading these books and as I start fighting my own personal battles, as I'm reading the entire series, I see Harry fighting his own battles, and I see him coming out alive. I see him not changing his morals, being the same person. And I decided, I want to be like that too. And because of the beauty, magic, and the amazing stories that J.K. Rowling has spun for me, I feel like it really inspired me to want to be a good person, to want to help people out, to not judge people for their size or their shape. Because they're growing and developing into different people, but they don't change who they are. And so I kind of want to be like that too. And that's kind of the thing that drives me still to this day, which is one of the main reasons why Harry Potter is my favorite form of media. Now, the thing is though, when it comes to the Jersey Shore, I really have no idea the first time I saw an episode. I don't. And if I did see an episode, it wasn't of my own accord. And if it was of my own accord, I didn't leave it on. This show, it's not because it's a reality TV show. It's not because of that. I've seen plenty and they never did this to me. They never made me feel this way. It's because of the huge impact that I've seen the Jersey Shore have on society, culture, and language is the reason that I hate it so much. Now, if you don't know what it is, the Jersey Shore is a 2009 to 2012 MTV show. And it had a huge impact on the minds of America, especially the youth. Almost overnight, I saw my friends dressing differently, acting differently, saying bruh 4 times in a sentence. And I didn't know why they didn't realize that this program was promoting, binge drinking, unprotected sex, violence, language, extreme language. And I couldn't see how they couldn't see this. And also, even dance was being affected with the famous, fist pump, getting so huge across clubs all over America. And actually, not only do the cast members misrepresent Italian American lifestyle, constantly referring to themselves as Guidos and Guidettes, but some of the cast members aren't even Italian Americans. And so because of the negative things I've seen because of this show, and because of the huge impact it's had on young culture, it really is my least favorite form of media. Now, let's back up a little bit and remember some of our mass communication theories. One of my favorites is the hypodermic needle model of communication, developed in the 1930s, and it was kind of coined after researchers noticed the effects of World War I propaganda, and they started seeing the effects of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, broadcast in 1938 over the radio, which they said caused huge widespread panic. And the theory attains that the media has a loaded gun and they can shoot bullets of ideas into our brain automatically. Basically saying that the idea that the media has huge influence on the way that we act, think, and behave. Now, a prime example of the hypodermic needle theory actually is The Onion's 2002 article with J.K. Rowling, saying that she is actually a Satan worshiper. They even had quotes from kids saying things like, now that I know magic is fake and the Bible is, Sorry, now that I know magic is real and the Bible's fake, I can do a Cretaceous curse on my brother because he's being mean to me. Or even, they had quotes from J.K. Rowling added fuel to the fire. Now, here is the thing. There's even parents and concerned readers that really wanted to know what was happening. They were scared and they were sending emails, letters, everything was happening. But here's the thing. The article was actually satirical. The Onion is actually a satirical newspaper. But since a major news station and a major newspaper quoted the article, people actually believed it. They were being succumbed to the hypodermic needle theory because they just believed whatever the media told them. They did no background research and they saw it. Now, it needs to be said though, while the theory is a great tool for advancement in the minds of, mass communication and mass media, the idea that the media can really influence the way we actually think is not really credible. Of course, that incident with J.K. Rowling is one thing where it could happen, but they're very far and very few between. Now, when I was the subject of a nationwide experiment on the spiral of silence theory, honestly, I was a little confused at the very least. I was watching this show, Jersey Shore, and it went crazy. I just let me backtrack one more. The SST in itself is actually a phenomenon observed by Elizabeth Noel Newman, which kind of says that the fear of being isolated, or the fear of being alone, or being reprised, people kind of get, they don't want to stay with their group, or they don't want to do the same things everyone else is doing, and they get scared that if they do that, people aren't going to want to be with them. So they don't want to be an outcast. And the thing is, though, that'll be someone else who stays silent. When the person who thinks that their opinion is the majority, they will actually get even louder and louder. And this actually translates into mass communication, since it suggests that the media has control over our opinions, and that they have the power to show what they even think is the popular opinion. They can just show it, And so this is kind of, this theory was actually used for Nazi Germany for them to try to justify the things that they did, something kind of like that. Now, with the emergence of the immediately popular show The Jersey Shore coming to light, it took over the youth of America in a huge, huge way. But the thing is, the more that I tried to fight against the opinions of my friends and the people who were changing the way they were dressing and the way they were acting, the more I felt isolated. I felt like, I could make fun of my friends, but I might lose them because this is the way they actually kind of are now. It started as mocking, but it turned into something else for a lot of these people. And because I didn't want to feel isolated from my friends, I just kind of got quiet. And honestly, I felt like it was an instance where I was succumbed, or I fell down into the spiral of silence. It happens, but it's something I could realize and understand. And before taking this course, it wasn't something I would have saw. It's not something I actually would have noticed and observed. I was always critical of the media myself. I was always trying to be a little more, tell my family not to believe everything with a grain of salt. Don't always believe all the way. But because of this class, because of this mass communication class, I'm actually able to identify the things that I don't, understand. I'm able to identify these theories and these things that are happening in mass media, and so that I can actually interpret them a lot better. And instead of having to share their popular opinion of the media or of anyone, I can form my own opinion based off what I believe. Thank you very much for the class. It was very appreciated.